want to talk about Bowser a little bit, and I want to talk about retrieving and hold and drop, which is something that is beneficial for all dogs to learn. Hold. Good boy. Hold. Good boy. That's very nice. That's perfect. It's perfect. See, he's not moving his head a lot. He's not chomping on it. That's what we want. Hold. Hold. Good boy. Hold. Very nice. Drop. No. Drop. Good. It's a service dog, or it's a, doing physical assist, or it's a hunting dog. When you start teaching the puppy to do this, at some point, the dog's going to give you a refusal. And I was waiting for the little man to give me a refusal when he finally did yesterday, which was great. So we put Bowser back up on a table, meaning not this table, but we're using a trash can with a flat lid on it, one of those plastic trash cans with a flat lid. And what I do is I put that in a doorway, I have it downstairs, and then I have the leash going upward, and I have an eye screw up there, and I tie the leash so that his head is in this position. He can't like really bend it down real far. He can't touch the ground. He can bend down to get like an object, but that's about it. When you see your puppy do this, you're retrieving with the dog, and some of these puppies will just start retrieving and going to get it. Keep doing that. I don't really sort of get serious with the puppy until it's about four months old, and then I put an e-collar on the dog, start conditioning it. I start using pressure. I change my demeanor a little bit when I get a refusal. It's no, and it's more forceful for sure. So that's at the stage we're at with this puppy, and it's, the remedial work with this dog to get the dog to hold and drop properly is going to be nothing. I worked with him last night, I'm going to work with him today, and then we're just going to sort of move forward, because that's all we need with this dog. If you have a dog, he's watching the pigeons, Solar and Remy are on the floor. But if you have a dog and if you have a dog and the dog is being trained to be a retriever, and you start getting refusals with the dog, don't sweat it. That's just an indication that you haven't worked hold enough on the table. Okay, put them back up on the table. Do that work, and the reason why we do this is because if you don't put the dog on a table and teach the dog a proper hold and have no conditioned in, which this is the point where no's getting conditioned in anyway. Say you get a refusal and you say, no, the dog's not going to respond properly. You have to do the hard work of having the dog on the table, having the leash in the up position, making sure that remember, it's a lot of muscle memory, that the dog's head will stay up. You want the dog to have their head up and not be chomping on stuff. All this is accomplished doing work on the table. You might be able to throw a stick to a dog and the dog go and get it, and never throw a stick to a dog, by the way. Always take that out of the dog's mouth. They'll start chewing on sticks, and sticks are they're non-digestible. You start getting, your dog, you'll get anal gland problems. It's not a good thing to do. Never throw a stick to a dog. And the retrieving items, like this, is not like a stick you find in the, this was a tomato steak that I cut. This doesn't have bark on it. It doesn't smell like a stick from outside. You never let the dog chew on these things. These are things that you work with your dog with. Playtime is interacting time with a human. Not putting this in the crate and let the dog chew on it. That's just mindless nonsense. If you want to give the dog something to chew on, use a deer antler, and he is teething, so of course we do give him deer antlers and he loves them. And that's more of a pacifier than anything. These should never be looked at by the dog. The dog should never think that this is their property. They don't really think, but you don't want the dog start responding like they own stuff. You own everything. And these things that we use to work with the dog with, they're yours, and you let the dog work with them with you. So don't put these in the crate. Don't do anything like that. The Frisbee, it doesn't belong in the crate. It's a play toy, sure, but it's interactive with a human. That's what you want to do. Don't give your dog tennis balls to chew on. It's nonsense. So anyway, the point is that I'm trying to make is that the dog won't be a good retrieving dog unless you spend the time teaching the dog, you know, that it needs to hold it. And when you say drop, it needs to drop it. That's another thing that we, you know, ironed out last night and we're going to iron out today. This is like 2 days of like, you know, the dog's awesome. The dog's a great retrieving dog. All these Labradoodles and Golden Doodles, man, they all are awesome. I've never met one that isn't awesome. You got a Lab or a Golden. Both those dogs are awesome. Great personalities. You know, they like to retrieve. They're generally good with kids. And then you mix in the Poodle, you know, to mix up the gene pool. You got a good dog. It's a good designer dog. I'm sort of surprised that the AKC isn't recognizing them yet. The first Labradoodle I knew was Coco, and that was my friend Chris Pfeiffer's dog in St. Louis, Missouri. We were kids. So the designer breed has been around for a while. I can't emphasize this enough when I was saying yesterday, yeah, I'm doing remedial work with Bowser on hold and drop. It's not really remedial work. It's work that we needed to do. But he was retrieving, and you want your puppy to do that. You know, he was just doing it so much better than most. That's the point. And he's sort of hardwired because he has Lab in him. You know, if he was a Golden Doodle, it'd probably be the same thing. He's hardwired to pick objects up and hold them. Know that about your Golden Doodle, your Lab, your Golden, that all these soft-mouth dogs, they're really hardwired to be mouthy, right? They're just mouthy as puppies. You know, they're going to go for paper. They want to chew on stuff. They're always grabbing stuff off the ground. That's just how soft-mouth dogs are. Like a terrier, like you say, Jack Russell, man, they just sort of stop doing that. But that's a hard-mouth dog. You know, Jack Russells are sort of born to kill. They are. They're born to kill. You don't have to train them to do it. They just will start doing it. So watch your Jack Russell. I've worked with a lot of Jack Russells, and, you know, usually they're coming to me because they've started killing, and the owner doesn't like it. But the owner just didn't do anything and then expects the dog, you know, not to kill. That's not the way that it works. Never encourage a dog to kill anything. And by you not doing anything, you're encouraging it. They don't need to kill, okay? Right, Bowser? That's right, Caine. Bowser, sit. So the basic rule of thumb is this, is we're just working on Bowser taking the objects, right? Taking the objects which he takes, hold, right? And drop. Bowser, drop. No, no, drop. He'd be doing this better if I was in front of him, you know. But we're doing a video right now. So we want him to hold it, and we want him to take it as it's going low. No. We want him to take it when I tell him to take it, not just take it whenever. No. No. Hold. Good. Drop. And we're conditioning all this in, and we're also using no a lot when we're getting, you know, if he's not taking it quick enough, or if, say, drops it on the ground, it's no, and then we put it back in his mouth. We're just, you know, we're talking about yesterday, today, and maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we'll just move forward. We're putting an e-collar on Bowser soon. I ordered one. And I want to stress this, that if you're thinking about getting an e-collar because you're having trouble with your dog, don't do that. You think an e-collar is going to help you with your dog, you're wrong. You're having problems with your dog. Putting an e-collar on it isn't going to help. When I use the e-collar, the dog's being good, not bad. So, you know, I don't even consider putting the e-collar on the dog until I'm getting like mostly success all the time. That's how it's conditioned in. It's conditioned in when the dog's being good, not being bad. That is not what that tool is used for. And we're going to put it on him, and we're going to use it on the lowest setting that we can, which is, you know, lower than a human feels it most likely. Some of these hunting dogs we do dial it up a bit, like Tonka. He's above where a human can feel it. If I'm hunting with him or something, you know, a dog like Tonka, some of these Cocker Spaniels go a little bit higher. You know, it's like their perception is different, and that's what we're talking about. But on a mini educator, a human feels it at about 20 with comfort pads on. I have a sneaking suspicion he's, you know, you got the vibrate function. It's a useful tool. Just don't get one and think that you know what you're doing. You're already having problems with your dog. Don't get one and think it's going to go better, because it's not. If you're having success with your dog and things are making a lot of sense to you, maybe you should consider it, but maybe you should also consider having a professional condition it in for you. You know, there's more to it than just zapping the dog. That's not what it's about. We're laying in a foundation real low with the e-collar. You know, it ends up, like this dog, his compliancy is just going to go up real high by having the e-collar on. It is. It's not going to do anything but help this puppy. And it's not about giving the puppy pain or anything like that. We're not using it as punishment. That's not how it is. You want to use the e-collar so it's an annoyance. The annoyance is created, and then the annoyance is stopped when the puppy becomes compliant. So we are putting an e-collar on him, for sure. And I recommend them highly. I recommend them highly for just about any dog. It can be a positive thing. Hey, Bows, leave the leash alone, dude. So that's it. I just want to update everybody on Bowser. He's an extremely playful dog, which makes it easy to train, because that's the kind of training that I do, is I train the dog to play, and all dogs can learn to do this. They all want to play. But when you're talking about a dog like this, a Labradoodle, a Golden Doodle, a Lab, a Golden, you know, you're talking about very playful dogs to begin with. It's simple. It is. It's all about timing. And that's what we're talking about with him sort of doing remedial. It's not even remedial work with him. It's just going over, hold, and drop real good on the table for a day or two, where normally it would be, this is no shit. If an adult comes here, we're going to be going over, hold, and drop for weeks. And it's the toughest thing for a dog to learn, is hold and drop. But for this dog, actually, when you start getting the dog to hold it, and then here, you start getting them to hold it, like they'll take it like that, hold, right? And then the biggest problem is getting the dog to pick the object up off the ground, right? And at that point, when the dog picks object up off the ground, you know, it's a sigh of relief for me, because the dog's doing a retrieve. But this dog has been doing it since he came. So the chances of me setting this down on the table and telling him to hold it, and him picking it up, even with just very, very little training, are very good. Let's see if he'll do it. I'm telling you, the dog is awesome. It's like working with, you know, a hunting dog. If you were going to get a hunting dog, and you got this dog, this would be a good hunting dog to have. But this dog will make, you know, make a good house dog, a good service dog. Here, Bowser, sit. No, sit. Up like that. Sit. No. Bowser. Hold. There you go. He picked it up. A few seconds for him to do it. He wasn't really used to this one, but he did it. He was picking up keys off the ground. We're not even, you know, I hadn't even really finished with hold and drop. I just throw the keys on the ground and the puppy will pick it up. Hold. Hold. He learned this last night, not to chew on it. Hold. Drop. No. No, drop. Starting to drop it too. It's a very good dog. Let's do it one more time. He's looking at this. Put this in my pocket. All right, ready, pals? Hold. It's perfect. That's what we want. Not a lot of head movement. Just hold it. Drop. No. Drop. See what I'm saying? Remedial work? Well, I guess. Just work. Not really remedial. He's way ahead of schedule of most dogs.